Hi everyone, it's Michael Brickster, but here in today's tutorial I will show you the basics of program Cienama 4D. As you can see, I divide this tutorial in 4 parts. The first part is description of main tool, what we use in program. The second part is description of use, the primitive object, stand object and splines. In the third part I will show you the most important buttons in the layer palette and few basic options with the composition tag. The fourth part will be basic information about the structure tab and main function in it. I will show how to use the materials too. I will not describe all parts in detail and tell you just about the most important and most frequently used. I will talk about the general options and tool in program in this part. At this point, there are several tabs related to the rendering and editing tools here. Let's start from the top of the first two buttons. They are responsible for the recursion and repeat the operation. This tool, selection tool, responsible for selecting. Move tool is responsible for moving object. We use scale tool to make objects smaller and bigger. Rotation tool for rotating the object. Next to rotation tool is button of an active tool at this time. Press this button for eject list of tools what we used last time. This button is responsible for the layout view in which we work. If we are modeling or animating, we can set the layout. Always you can also make your own. This button is one of the most important. Adding primitive object, we cannot edit it. If you click this button, make it editable, now you can. By model tool, we are moving, scaling or rotating the whole object. Just below this is axis tool. By this option we can set center of object, so we can rotate this object around it. Under the button there are 3 other buttons: point, edge and polygons tool. In model tool we can move all the object, but by this option we can appropriate points, edge and polygons. We can do it only when object on what we will works is editable. The 3 buttons here are responsible for rendering. First, show how your object looks after quick rendering. Second, save your picture at the size and settings what you set. In the last button you can set the settings. And just for example, in Output tab you can set the resolution of your work and among other things. If you would like us to render the whole animation, click on All Frames. Or if you want to render only one, click on Current Frame. On the Save tab, choose where you want to save the file and in what format. Multipass allows you to save shadows or reflection and any other on another screens. The Anti-aliasing tab set the recording quality, and Options tab is used to set other options. The second part will show you how to add and use primitive objects. To edit this object you must press the button make it editable. First button is primitive object, cube, sphere, cone and many advanced as the landscape and figure, which can help you while you are studying animation. By adding such a cube we can adjust its size and can be very helpful to add an option known as fillet, which makes edge of object rounded. Here we can set sphere radius and what type is it. This button is very helpful for people with weaker computers, because when you are working on more of these spheres will be a lot of polys and your computer may not give you advice, so you can set the fields of the sphere composed of smaller segments such as 4, but when this option render perfect is selected, after rendering it will always look like a perfect sphere. Here you will find all types of spline, done, and this what you have to do yourself. There is also a text spline. Next tab is NURBS object. First of it is Hyper NURBS. This function smooths out your model. I will show the best example of this on cube. Extrude NURBS add depth to spline. By this NURBS we can also create a basic text. Left nerves can help us in creating objects like ball or chest pound. It works on principle of duplicating spline around axis. Left tool used to create area in your spline. We use sweep nerves to create a pipe. We need two splines. One of the way by pipe is going and the second with circuit of the pipe. This is modeling tool tab. Array is used to reproduce object in a round. Ball is a tool which from one object remove the second. Symmetry rather not have to explain to anyone. These are the main tools in this menu, and rather we use only them. This menu includes all types of lights, but also you can find the sky object and camera. In this menu you will find deformers, its effects, which we can destroy text or bend object. Last menu many people know from Adobe After Effects particles. Right side of program is layer palette. While holding down Ctrl and moving object down, we are copying them. By checking both cubes, right click and pressing group object. In Cienama 4D tags are there many helpful and interesting features. Like composition, we can choose options like cast shadows, resize shadows, self-shadowing or seen by camera. This option can help with situation when you add the sky, which gives the reflection but you don't want to render the sky. If you uncheck Seen by Rise, on this object you will not see the reflections. In Object Buffer tab, we can set the object buffer to a cube. And after it, in Multipass tab, you can render black and white screen, where black is everything other. In this tab, you can also add shadows and reflections. In most cases, to use the structure function, you have to make object editable and select polygon tool. I will describe several features which are most often used. Close polygon hole helps to path the hole in object. Create polygon helps when we want to create a new polygon. By knife, we can cut polygons into several parts. By magnet, we can move the points. Bevel makes a kind of pick. However, on YouTube you can find a lot of cool tutorials with this function. Extrude, squeeze up polygons. Select few and use extrude. This option here extrude out polygons in random all tight. This option disconnect all these polygons. Extrude inner in every polygon, cut small square. Then again, by function extrude we can dig hole. Matrix extrude makes something like spider legs. You can create a new material by pressed twice in this field. We can also take advantage of the ready-made presents. To create something, we can use your own bookmark color, luminance, transparency that will make your material like glass, reflection. By this option, the material will gain reflection from object around. Bump creates the illusion of small tremor on the material. And in Specular tab, you set how the lights fall on the material. And here, you can set glow around the material. Michael Drix here, and that was tutorial for basic of program Cienama 4D.